Nick Sirianni has lost 10 of his last 13 games. He was asked about his job security. These questions always go well. Take a listen.
No, I'm just worried about getting the team better. I'm just worried about the bye week and putting ourselves in position to win. Coming out of the bye week, and then I'll be worried about the Cleveland Browns. You can't worry about any of those different things. Right now we're 2-2. Got a lot of football in front of us, and just put my head down and work.
Yeah, buddy, it doesn't work. We're like, I'm just focused on the bye. Right now, I can't deal with any of that. Locked in on the bye. All right.
Can't wait till the bye.
All right. Is he on hot seat watch?
Well, yeah, he's obviously on the hot seat. I don't love. Can we add Sirianni to this bottom line? I don't love.
Nick.
I don't love how that looks for the audience. Should Sirianni be on the hot seat? I'm not sure. I mean, but regardless, so there's two elements to it. The first one is this: what does he do? Fangio runs the defense. He gave the offense to Kellen Moore, so it's game management. Well, that's been a disaster. Okay, no, it's not that. It's the great relationship he has with the franchise's most important player, Jalen Hurts. Yikes, that one's on the fritz, too. So I'm not sure exactly. And then there's this element. Jeffrey Lurie has fired better coaches than you. Andy Reid hadn't had a losing season in 6 years, had 2 in 12 years, had a down year out. Chip Kelly comes in.
How'd that work out for him?
No, I understand. Right, I'm not.
Decision.
Okay, no, I'm not. I'm not saying it was right or wrong.
Okay.
I'm saying whether or not he's on the hot seat. Chip Kelly went 10-6, went 10-6 again,
Yeah, Chip Kelly.
and didn't make it through the next year. I'm just telling you what
how they've
Doug
operated.
Peterson.
Great coach.
I'm not saying
won
he
a
is.
Super Bowl.
I'm simply saying they won a Super Bowl. The next year made the playoffs and won a game. The next year made the playoffs again, had a down year, and was out. So, this isn't a franchise that is going to be like, well, you made a Super Bowl a couple years ago, buddy. So, yeah, I think he's on the hot seat.
But those questions always crack me up. Like, are you worried?
Oh, they changed it.
Are you worried
Sirianni,
about your
thanks,
job
guys.
security? It's like, what are you going to say? Oh, yeah, I am. I got a house and family, but I got a couple years on my contract, so I should be good. Like, what do you? I have no idea what they expect you to say besides you're focused on the next thing. But remember last year when he was 10-0. People were ready to give him the Coach of the Year, honors, and that was coming off
that's crazy.
The Super Bowl, and it looked like they'd overcome the Super Bowl hangover, quarterback with a new contract, all that stuff, and things go south, and now they don't let him hire the new coordinators, so they go and he didn't give the offense to Kellen Moore.
It was
it was taken from him.
Which is not a good
Same
sign.
thing defensively. They told him who he was going to hire. So I don't know, what's the accountability factor if the offense isn't doing well? Is that now his fault? If he, does he get to control? I don't know what the control aspect is there, and how much he actually gets to dictate what happens during the course of the game, and that's got to be factored in because if you want him to fix it, you got to give him a chance to fix it.
So I think it's a great point that Mangini's bringing up, and I think I had already recorded a video talking about that through NFL Live, Dan Orlovsky, and they really highlight how poorly coached the Philadelphia Eagles are. And I'm not going to try to just repeat all of that, but this is where it's just clearly the practices aren't run hard enough. Clearly people aren't held accountable. And clearly the game plan itself isn't great either. And to me, that does all fall on Sirianni. I understand Fangio runs the defense and Kellen Moore runs the offense, but Kellen Moore is the coordinator. He's not so much the one who's like, this is what we're going to do in practice. This is how we're going to, this is how hard we're going to work in practice. This is what we're going to be working on, this, that, and the third. Like, he's more of the brains behind it all. And Sirianni's going to be the one who's like, this is the execution. This is how we prepare. This is how we practice. This is how we go about it. And it is one of those things that it's hard to figure out when you have the offensive coordinator have that much control over the offense. But compared to the McVays, the Shanahans, the Andy Reids, we know that they are the brains and the person who's executing everything from both the game plan and the practice and preparation. The Eagles have just clearly been, not only because of injuries, but also even if we remove the injuries, they haven't been prepared, especially at least versus the Bucks. So again, to me, that's where Sirianni does get a lot of the blame. And I've said this now in many videos past, that the Philadelphia Eagles are too great of a franchise, too winning of a culture, too massive of a fan base, and worth too much, honestly, to the NFL as a whole to not have a great coach, right? The Philadelphia Eagles deserve to have a coach like Shanahan, like McVay, like Andy Reid, obviously. And now the other coaches that are, I'm not say up and coming because they're already kind of arrived, but the Matt LaFleur's, the Kevin O'Connells. And so when you have Sirianni, it's just, you got one of the best thought experiments to do is let's say all the coaches were all let go, and then it's like, and the coaches are a draft, right? Like we do with players. It's like, what team is going to want Nick Sirianni? People are going to be fighting over, of course, Andy Reid, Shanahan, McVay, LaFleur, Kevin O'Connell, right? But like, who is fighting for Sirianni? I guarantee you that if we were rehiring all these coaches, the teams after they get through like the main ones that people know they really like, they're going to hire other coordinators over Nick Sirianni. Ben Johnson, Bobby Slowick, Brian Flores, right? Some other coaches that are on the sidelines, like Vrabel. You also have another coordinator, Cliff Kingsbury, right? Like, so I would think that Sirianni would not even have another head coaching opportunity, quite frankly. So this is one of the more bizarre things that I've watched the Philadelphia Eagles do and continue to do with Nick Sirianni, because at the very least, let's say we say about the Detroit Lions, for example, which I don't think this is true, but let's just say Dan Campbell has nothing to do with the offense, nothing to do with the defense, and he's just a rah-rah guy, right? Which is what people, some people believe. You could still see Dan Campbell's impact on the team. You can see how prepared they are. You can see how hard they execute on the game day, how physical. You can see the identity of not only Dan Campbell, but also then, Ben Johnson combined. You can see it on the field. If Sirianni was at least just the master organizer, then you would see it on the field. Or if he was master at preparing, of getting the team ready to compete, you would see it. So that is the main question, because we think about, well, what does this coach do? Is he offense or defense? And that's usually the lens we look at it. But it's also like, what is Sirianni doing to make sure that this team is ready to play, that they believe in what they can do, that they believe that they still have a chance to win, even if they are down AJ, even if they are down Devontae. And then the other thing is right, we can even look at how the offense unfolded against the Bucs for the first few drives, and the lack of, say, the lack of Saquon Barkley. And it's like, is that Nick Sirianni? This is where it gets confusing. Is it Kellen Moore? Is it Sirianni? Is Sirianni saying, this is the game plan that I want? Like, this is how I want you to, to go about it, or not, right? Or like, where is his influence? And to me, that alone is too confusing. That's too many question marks. You need to have this defined. You need to know what is your head coach doing and not doing. And it's just, at this point, it's bizarre to me that the Eagles, it's bizarre to me that the Eagles didn't fire him at the end of last season. That to me is genuinely confusing. I think in a lot of ways, both coaches for the Cowboys and the Eagles could have been fired, and both weren't. And it's like, both of those teams could have gotten Harbaugh, they could have gotten Belichick, they could have gotten Ben Johnson, and they didn't. And it feels like both teams are going to fire their coaches, McCarthy and Sirianni. And it would be funny to see them switch, see if watch Jerry Jones hire Sirianni. That would be one of the funnier things that could happen. I know it's not going to happen, but it just would be funny to me. But yeah, I really wonder what the Eagles will do if Sirianni will continue to last, or the Eagles are going to win convincingly against the Browns after the bye. AJ Devontae's back, right? They put up 35 points. Jalen Hurts looks great, goes 19 for 25 for 280 yards and 2 touchdowns and a rushing touchdown. And everyone's like, we're back, baby. Let's go. See? And everyone, then this show will say, is Sirianni no longer on the hot seat? And it's like, whatever. So, And then we go. And now I just set off my phone by saying the name that he's got the worst name to say when you have a phone nearby, because then it just goes off. Crazy. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think? Do you think Nick Sirianni should be on the hot seat? I can't believe I said the name again. Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment. So whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions. Let's get in some fights. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and I'd absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to. Something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're well on our way to doing it. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much, and see you next time.